See, I don't think I'll ever stop because I'm
Right.
one of those people who like I always need the next thing and I
Right.
always need to put like challenge is what keeps me going.
Welcome, proprietors, to Blank's Lifestyle, a series where we feature a different entrepreneur every single month and get to know them a little better. This month, we're here with Tyler Byrne. Tyler, what's going on, my guy?
Nothing much.
We're going to get to know him a little better and kind of see what he's been up to. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you've been up to lately?
The reason I'm on today, I'm going to be talking about my real estate business. Right now, Shelley Field Realty is what it's called. We started in September of 2018. Currently own 5 apartments in Oneonta, New York, worth between $200,000 and $250,000 valued to date. We have 5 different tenants. We have a management company, brokers, real estate agents, investors, the whole nine. And it started kind of like anything else. You get started, you don't really know where you're going, what you're doing, but you pick it up and it's moving fast, definitely. But it's fun. It's kind of addicting. You just keep going and see where you get.
That's awesome. Why'd you decide to go into the entrepreneurship game? Like, what made you want to start a business to begin with?
So I always knew that I didn't want to work for somebody else my whole life, right? You realize that in the end of the day, you're trading time for money. And when you're putting so much time in to make somebody else money, you're ultimately not getting the most out of your life. So I think that for me, it was always something I wanted to do. It was just, how am I going to do it? I went to college, 4 years, graduated in advertising and business management. So I was always into, business and finances and that type of stuff. So naturally, it kind of was just, what am I going to choose? We did the skyscraper sports.
Rest in peace.
So I had different ideas. I did a website business for a little while, selling online advertising, website design, things like that. But then real estate just really appealed to me. I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and that kind of flipped it for me. It was just like real estate is the best use of your time, and ultimately is getting the best return on your time, the best return on your investment, and the best return on your time.
So operating a business from a distance requires a lot of delegation, I'm sure. 1, how'd you find someone that you can trust? And 2, how do you go about kind of splitting up the day-to-day activities and all of that?
So I think that for anyone starting a business where you're still, you haven't gone all in yet, you still work a full-time job and you're trying to start a business on the side, I think it's important to surround yourself with the right people. I have a full-time partner who I do this with, and we split everything 50-50. But then outside of that, in real estate, is like I mentioned earlier, you have your brokers, you have your real estate agents, you have your management company, you have and just a support system, investors, things like that. So what I really think that like my biggest skill is, and in business and in life really, is just choosing the right people to surround myself with. I can read people pretty well and kind of know how to get a lot out of people. And so we met when we went up to Oneonta the first time. We met this real estate agent, and he sat us down and broke it, really gave it to us straight, and was like, if you're not serious about this, you're not going to make out. If you think you can just half-ass it, you're not going to make out. Like, you have to really be all in on this. And when I heard that, I was like, this guy is, what I'm looking for. Not someone who's just trying to sell me a house, but someone who's really trying to further me as a business person, as an investor.
Right.
So we stuck with him. Then kind of just snowballed from there. He hooked us up with a management company. He hooked us up with various contractors and, to do work on houses and stuff like that. So kind of just built our support system through that contact, spiraled into another contact, and then that contact became another contact, and so on and so forth. And that kind of how we took his support system and kind of made it our own, and leveraged that. And that's where we are today. It's really, like you said, managing from a distance. You have to have that peace of mind that I have people there who have my best interest in mind.
Right. So was it ever a problem when they looked at you and saw like a young 20-year-old trying to get into this business, that it wasn't somebody who was 40 and had $200,000 to spend? Was it ever like a age discrimination issue at all?
So I think that, and I know you've been really an entrepreneur since we were 18, 19.
Like that.
And people look at being young as, oh, I have so much time to, figure out my life, and I'm gonna do that, have fun while I'm in my 20s and do this. And I still love to have fun and do a lot of stuff, but I actually think being young in business is an advantage, because I find that people like to help young people. If you're a 40-year-old with a kind of a cocky attitude, and I have 20 years of experience, and I've managed $30 million in assets and blah blah blah, everyone's kind of like just another guy trying to sell me whatever it is. But for us, it's like, oh, I'm gonna these kids are hungry, they're young, they're trying to do the right thing, they have their head on straight. Obviously, you got to present yourself well, market yourself well, and people are want to help. And real estate is that type of community where if people can tell you're a serious investor and you know your stuff and you can answer their questions and do that type of stuff, they're like, I want to get this kid on my team, because everyone makes money. My real estate agent gets a cut of every house I buy. My management company gets a cut of the rent that I accrue. My contractors want me to buy more houses because that's more work for them. So everyone's kind of interests are aligned. So that's how you're furthering yourself, is by just proving that you're a legitimate business person who's just trying to get better every day.
What motivates you to keep going every day? I know you said you had a full-time job now, so what motivates you to get back from that and still be able to make sure that everything's okay 200 miles from here, and even on the weekends work and do all that?
Everyone's motivation is different. I find that personally, I'm not knocking this, but people who are motivated by big houses and nice cars and girls and things like that, that stuff is nice, and don't get me wrong, everybody wants that, right? But that motivation to me fades over time. To me, the motivation that lasts is what my legacy is going to be. I want to pass down things to my kids. I want my kids to have a better life than I had, just like my parents wanted me to have a better life than they had. I want, to be able to do different things with my life, that I'm not bogged down by working, 40, 50, 60 hours a week forever. So I'm putting that time in now to really, further myself down the road and ultimately help out my family for all the help that they've given me, and that motivation, I think, is better and lasts longer than those, material motivations. Right. I think that, trying to help the people in your life and that love you have for those people is ultimately what's going to drive you to keep going.
So walk me through a perfect day in Tyler's lifestyle, from the second he wakes up in the morning to the second he puts his head down to go to sleep. What is the perfect day for Tyler?
In my current lifestyle, or in my future lifestyle? In your future
ideal lifestyle.
So when I finally tell myself, I don't think I'll ever stop, because I'm one of those people who I always need the next thing, and I always need to put challenge is what keeps me going. But if I can take a second and relax, I'd say I'd love to live somewhere near a beach. I love going to the beach, doing that stuff. So get up, go to the beach in the morning, play some golf. That's always fun. Watch sports, maybe do a little gambling. Obviously, is always fun too. It's really just like you said, that freedom to be able to do what you want is what I'm craving. Is if I don't want to go to work today, I don't have to. Whereas people put themselves in financial holes, and then you have to work, or you're going to be in debt, and then you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose everything you have, So it's freedom that I crave, and I think that, an ideal lifestyle is just not having to think about money every single day of your life,
What's one piece of advice you could give to other entrepreneurs out there watching who are like, damn, Tyler's made successful, I could tell that he's going to be waking up on the beach every morning. What's one thing you could tell them to kind of align themselves to be headed in the direction that you're headed?
You've ever had your car break down and you're trying to, you have to push it somewhere? The hardest part is getting it started, right? Once it's rolling, it's kind of doing it on its own, and you're just kind of giving it a little bit of a push. Getting things started is the hardest part. So I would challenge people to start and figure the rest out as you go, because so many people lay out so many plans for their life, and then they never execute them because they overcomplicate these plans. Right. Things can be figured out. We were just talking before we started this about how today's technology and in today's world, you can do things that would have taken so much more time and effort and investment, that today you can start from the internet. Or
like
you
this
can,
interview with the phone.
Yeah.
I'm literally recording this with my fucking iPhone 8 right now.
Right, it's going to be high quality, and it's going to look like it was shot with a $10,000 camera. That's that's what I'm talking about. Is get started and figure it out. Sometimes when you put that pressure on yourself, like for example, we did a house through investors, right? We took other people's money and we said, we're going to return this in a fixed period of time. You're going to get 10% interest, and we're on the hook for that. That's scary, right? Like now you're responsible for other people's financial wealth too.
Yeah.
And it also is motivational because you're saying, I have to succeed now. I don't have a choice. I have to succeed. If something goes wrong, I got to figure out how to fix that. Right. So I think get started, challenge yourself, and figure it out as you go. Don't be the person who constantly plans for every outcome and then never gets started.
So thanks, Tyler. Where can we stay updated with you moving forward? Like you guys on Facebook, you guys have a website, where you at?
So right now we do have a Facebook profile, Shelleyfield Realty LLC. We started in September, and we've really been in deal mode. We acquired, like I said, 5 different apartments in the span of 6 months. So it's a lot of work went into that. So now we're kind of starting the marketing aspect, looking for investors and, potential tenants, potential real estate agents in different markets and things like that. So we'll be making an Instagram, website, all that stuff. It's in the works right now. But Shelleyfield Realty LLC on Facebook is how you can find us. And then if you have any questions or inquiries, you can always reach out to me by email, which is tylerbyrne721@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll put that link to the Facebook in the description, as well as his email. Tyler, thanks for coming through, my guy.
Thanks, Steve.
And like I said, all of Tyler's info is linked in the description, so check that out, and we'll see you guys next month.